Hello, Tracy here. I just got back from Crop and Create Moncton, which was the best time ever. This is my third Crop and Create event, and I had a blast. It was so much fun. So thank you so much to Catherine and all the ladies who put it on. And I'm going to do a series of videos. Now, before I left, I filmed what I packed, and so I know I've been posting on Facebook and Instagram, and I have received a couple of questions about what did I pack, how did I pack, and am I going to do a video about packing for a crop. And yes, I did do a video before I left. I was in such a rush I didn't get a chance to edit it and get it all ready, but by the time you see this I will have probably done that. And so you'll see a series of videos on my channel. There'll be Crop and Create what I packed, Crop and Create what I made, Crop and Create what I bought, and Crop and Create what I won, or what we got, the freebies that we got, including what I won. So this is just a little bag that we got, so I thought I'd put it here as like a little title screen of Crop and Create. That's what this video is about. So I'm going to start by showing you guys what I made. I literally just took this out of my bag. Like, I haven't looked at my layouts at all since I packed them away. So these are the pages that I created at Crop and Create Moncton 2016. I did buy a number of collections at the crop. So as I mentioned in my packing video, I did pack even lighter than usual. I try to pack light for Crop and Create anyways, which I talk about in the packing video, so check that out. But I packed even lighter this time because I really wanted to be able to shop at the crop. And I know in previous years I was actually trying not to shop at the crop, but this year I held off on buying a couple of collections. There were two collections in particular that I knew that I wanted that I didn't order online because it didn't make sense to me to order it, have it shipped to me, pay for the shipping and the exchange and all that stuff, get it shipped to me, and then have me drag it off to New Brunswick. Instead, what I did was I traveled to New Brunswick, bought it there, used it, and brought home what was left. So that just kind of worked better for me this year. So the two collections that I went planning to buy some or all of was Fancy Pants Atwell's collection and the Carpe Diem collection from Simple Stories, which is really similar in my mind in terms of its usefulness to the I Am collection, which they came out with last year, which I really loved, and I used up so much of that collection. I found it a really, really usable collection, so I was excited to have kind of like an updated version of it. It's not exactly the same, but it's very eclectic and has great colors and lots of black, and it's very bold and energetic, and I like it. It reminds me a lot of the I Am collection, so I was excited to get that as well. So those are the two collections that I knew I was going to want at this crop. So this here is actually made from both of them. So this is the first layout that I made at the crop, and this layout took 6 hours for me to complete. Not because it's all that special or fancy or intricate, but because I was really distracted and socializing and getting up and leaving, and we went to the pub for a while, and yeah, so it was sort of a 6-hour epic scrapbooking session, but it was really, really fun. So I'll tell you what this is made of because I didn't make any process videos while I was there. I know I got a lot of questions about whether I'd be videotaping myself, but no, I did not. I thought that would be just a little bit too strange. So this is a piece of the corrugated cardboard 12 by 12 papers that, it's not really cardboard, it's corrugated paper that come in the Fancy Pants Atwell collection. You get, I think, two of these. One is white and one is red, and so this is the white one. I used it as the background on this, and I used one of I think I used a Page Maps sketch for this, but it was really just a jumping off point. It ended up not looking at all like the sketch, but I did use a sketch for this just as the jumping off point. Basically the sketch had this part, but all this is different than what was in the sketch. So I kind of started off with the idea of having a horizontal strip, and it also had like a decorative border on the edge of it. So that is where the sketch came in, but then I put the ledge and I put all this stuff on. So I think I kind of lost the sketch and didn't even remember it until I was finished my layout, and then I was like, oh yeah, I was gonna make it the sketch, but anyhow, it ended up being this. So this is a piece of paper from the Fancy Pants Atwell's collection. I love this collection, but I do have something to say about it. I'll talk about it when in my other video. There's going to be a series of videos, and in the other one where I talk about what I bought at the Crop, I'll talk about the Atwell collection and what I like about it and what is a little bit of a challenge about it. So this is the paper that I love. This is one of the main reasons I bought this kit, this collection, is that I love red, and there just aren't enough reds in the scrapbooking world. So I love it for that. So I bought it for that. And then this is a piece of, this was yellow paper on the back, this chevron one. It's also from the Atwell collection. I just ran it through my Stampin' Up! Scallop border punch, which I brought with me, and just glued it to this strip of red paper, which has the yellow stripes on the back, and then I just slapped it onto the corrugated cardboard, and that was my base. And then the back side of this red paper is that yellow and white stripes, so I ran a piece of that this way, because you guys, I know that I love to have little ledges to stick stuff on, so I did that. And I find that that gives a nice balance to the horizontal bulk here, and gives your eye, kind of draws it out this way. So, and I did outline all of the papers, except I didn't outline my scallops. I often don't outline scallops because they tend to look messy when you outline them, and so I chose a really dark pattern paper so that it would still be bold without outlining it. I did pack these Mini Market letter stickers from October Afternoon. They're fairly old and I love them. They're one of my favorites. And I knew right off the bat that they would look great with this sort of red, teal, yellow look. And so I picked these because I just love the look, and it really makes the teal pop out. So these were from my stash, and this is a photo of, this is our international student Sophia with her two friends. They're our neighbors. She's from Mexico and she's from Germany, and the three of them they all joined the cheerleading team, and they were all excited to be, you know, going to a North American high school and being cheerleaders, and it's kind of like a typical girl high school experience. Sophia is incredibly well-rounded. She's also in the robotics club and she's on the rugby team. Like, she's really, really well-rounded. So I love this picture there. They took a selfie in the mirror with their cheerleading outfits on, and I just thought it was really cute and very kind of typical high school girlish. So I wanted to capture that. The picture itself is printed up at 3.75 by 3.75. I left a white border around it when I printed it up. This die cut, and this heart die cut are all pieces that came from the Carpe Diem collection from Simple Stories, and this is one of the chipboard frames from that same collection and another chipboard frame from the same collection. I just put them under the photo so that the frame, it provides a background for this cluster of embellishments. And this one, this is one of those plasticized tabs. I think they're called clips. And it's also obviously from the Carpe Diem collection from Simple Stories. And then the enamel dots, I've chose four, I guess, black enamel dots. Those are also from the Carpe Diem collection. I didn't bring any enamel dots with me. I figured I would buy a set that had a variety of colors and just use them the whole time I was there. And so that's what I did, and it was the Carpe Diem ones that I bought from Simple Stories. And then all of these puffy stickers, these are those really thin puffy stickers. They're not very thick at all. You can see the thickness of them right there. And they're quite shiny. They're not the lush, soft, plastic matte that most puffy stickers are. These are a shiny, so it gives a different kind of a texture. So that's what this is, this, and these little tiny shapes here. They're all they're all puffy stickers from this, and they actually came right in the Atwell collection. So the Atwell collection is a little bit more costly than other collections, but that's because it comes with a set of puffy letter stickers and a set of puffy stickers, like decorative stickers as well. So that's part, and it comes with 2 sheets of this corrugated cardstock, and so that accounts for the higher cost of the Atwell's collection, but it's really worth it because you get those extra things. This today I don't think I mentioned. I did outline it, and it is from the Carpe Diem collection from the die cut set. I think I've mentioned, oh, this is a, trying to remember where this came from, and it was included in our goodie bag. So when you attend a Crop and Create, you get a kit. It's more than a goodie bag. It's a complete kit. You can scrapbook probably 3 or 4, 5 layouts. I don't know. I guess it depends how much product you use, but you can scrapbook several layouts from the kit that you get. And this was one of the embellishments that came in that kit. So I just stuck it on this layout right there. I did some sewing. One of the people in my group brought a sewing, actually 2 of the people in my group brought sewing machines, so I did some sewing right at the crop. And I think that's it for this one. I layered this puffy chevron arrowy thing right there with this die cut piece from the Carpe Diem collection, stapled that on with my stapler. I just stapled this in place. I've used glossy accents before to stick these sorts of things on layouts, but in this case it was a crop and I didn't want to mess around with waiting for glue to dry, so I just stapled it in place. And I think that's all to say about this one. I did outline my papers just to bring them all together, especially where I'm using different collections together. I like to do that, although all the papers from the same collection. So I really love this. It turned out really great, and it was a nice warm-up. I find my first layout out of crop always takes quite a bit longer than everything after it, so this was a great warm-up. I love the color. My very favorite color scheme in the entire world is red and teal and yellow. I love, love, love that color combination. So the fact that between Carpe Diem and Atwell's I got to make my favorite color combination, I was pretty pleased with that. The next layout that I made features a die cut from Just Nick's Studio, which is Nicole Nawasad's store where she sells her cut files. It's called Shattered, and it is it's die cut. I actually didn't die cut it myself, but Christine Davidson had brought it with her, and she had just a whole stack of a whole bunch of die cut backgrounds, and this was one of them, and she offered it to me. That's what it looks like without paper behind it. And basically what I did with this is, you can't tell because it's actually peeling up, but what I did was I took my Zig 2-way glue pen, not this one, the one I used is still packed, but this is just another version of it, and basically what I would do is I would decide which papers, and this I used the Drops of Jupiter kit from Scraptastic Kit Club, which is the March kit, and it features all of those blues and beautiful colors, and I really wanted to scrapbook a masculine page because that's our 27-day challenge for the month of April, is to scrapbook a masculine layout, and so this is going to be my second one of the month, or is my second one of the month. So this cardstock came in the kit, all of the pattern papers came in the kit. Actually, I think every single thing on this page came in the kit except for the cut file, which is, as I mentioned, is you can find on Just Nick's Studio. And what I did was I would decide which pattern I wanted in. So I started with this one, and I just put the die cut piece on top of the pattern paper and traced it with a pencil, and then I cut it out a little bit bigger than what the tracing was. Then I erased the tracing, and then I would usually have to trim it down. I kind of like size it and cut a little bit more and size it and cut a little bit more until it was exactly the right size, and then I would flip my die cut piece over and apply glue to the very edge, so like to this surface right here. I would apply the glue, and then I would stick the piece of paper on. And I did that for every single part. And when I did it, I was just careful that, so one pattern here stands out as being very different from the rest, and that's the orange one, because all the other ones are bluish. So I started with making sure that I had my orangish one spread around, and then this one stands out as the next most different because it's so dark. So then I made sure that that was spread around. And so I just kind of worked my way backwards from the ones that stand out the most and from the others, and just kind of worked my way backwards. I have a couple of process shots that I'll put in right here if I can find them and if they look okay. I don't know exactly, it's all a blur because it's been a really crazy couple of days, but I'll put them in here if I can. So that's what some of this looked like in the process. And it might not look like I did that with the whole thing because it's peeling off, but that's just because this glue, if you let it dry before you stick the stuff to it, it becomes a temporary adhesive. So it's a two-way glue pen, which means when you use it when it's still blue and wet, it's permanent, but if the longer you wait for it to dry, it becomes transparent, and then it's temporary adhesive. So after it was all filled in, the whole thing was filled in, and I'll show you a picture of it right here. I know I have a picture of that. So that's what it looked like. At that point, what I did was I ran tape runner all the way across the back so that it hit every single piece, and then I held it and I centered it on this background piece of cardstock, and I just put it down and plopped it down, and there's a picture of that I think I just showed you. So then I had my background, and the rest of it is really, really easy because I printed up, I found these pictures on the internet. So this page is what I call a fan page. So this is just, we love Headley, and I just wanted to make a page of it. We happened to be going to see Headley on Tuesday, and so I really wanted to make this layout now because when we go to the concert on Tuesday, we're not going to take really awesome shots. You're not going to be able to see the band like this. You're not going to be able to see how cool his tattoo is or any of the details, right? Because they're just going to be these teeny little blur down on the bottom of like concert shots, right? Like they're poorly lit, it's weird lighting and exposure, and the band is a little tiny and all these heads are in front of it. Not great shots. So instead, what I plan to do is maybe take a selfie in the audience, or like of our whole family, all 5 of us are going, or maybe take a picture of the venue outside while we're waiting in the lineup, or I'm not sure, but I'll take some of those sorts of shots as the concert layout, and this will be like the fan layout, and I'll put them side by side in my album so that you can see what the band actually looks like and also see our experience of the concert. So these are just promo shots that I got from the internet. I printed them up on my Epson PictureMate at home before I went. I printed all my pictures, which I think you guys would have heard in my packing for a crop video. And I just printed them up at, I think, 1.5 by 2.5 to get them like this. And then I just trimmed it down. It filled almost a 4 by 6. I just trimmed a little tiny bit around the border of it so that the outside edge was the same as the inside edge. And then I matted the whole thing on a second piece of this cardstock, which only one piece comes in the kit. So if you were working with just what comes in the kit, you would have to take a hunk of this out, which would mean that this wouldn't be stuck the same. Like you'd have to replace it with something else or something in order to do that. But I happened to be, they had a piece of the exact same piece of, it's basil cardstock, so it's easy to find another piece of the same color. So I just bought it at the Crop. Then I put the orange stars, so you guys saw me use the other stars, the blue stars, the 2 different shades of blue in my last layout, which has a process video, but there were these 2 orange ones left. I really wish there were 3, but there weren't, but there was this orangey, reddish colored star right here, so I thought I'd use that as my 3rd star, and I just put an enamel dot on it. And then this is one of the die cuts that came in the kit, and I just used Pool Party ink from Stampin' Up! And one of the stamps that came in the kit for Drops of Jupiter. I think it came with the Drops of Jupiter. It might have come with the baby stamp set. I can't remember, but one of the stamp sets from the March Scraptastic stamps stamped out number 10 because they are a 10 on the scale of 1 to 10 in terms of awesome. This is the flare badge that came with the kit and some enamel dots that came in the kit as well. And that's it. Pretty easy. I mean, this was time consuming, don't get me wrong, but really easy. And it's time consuming, but it really has a lot of impact. It's very, very pretty. The detail is really gorgeous. I'll include photos of all of these at the end of this video. Then, this one is really kind of not my favorite from a design perspective, but it's one of my favorite from a storytelling perspective. So this is a layout about something that actually I was thinking about on the way to the Crop and in the days leading up to the Crop, which is we had a FaceTime call with Marcel, who was our student from Germany last year, and his brother Pascal, who will be our student from Germany next year. And it just kind of got me thinking about how this whole experience of hosting international students, this is our second year, so Marcel was our first, Sophia is our second, and Pascal will be our third. And it kind of like midway through the second year into it, these are my thoughts on what it's like to be hosting international students. And it was something I was kind of thinking, this is just a picture. I took a picture of the screen of Scott's phone, or his, I guess it was his iPad mini, and there you can see us up there in the corner, we're all looking in, and the two boys. And I was just kind of thinking about how we're at this place where Marcel is in the past, like was our previous student, and we loved him, and he was so awesome in all of his own ways, and it was so hard to say goodbye to him, and yet we're still really looking forward to meeting Pascal and getting to know him and how he's different than his brother and how he might be the same, and all, like, it's sort of like potential here, and then this is sort of like the past and memories and remembering. And then we have Sophia, who is here now, and we love her so much, and we're sort of like trying to hang on to this moment and not get too tied up in missing Marcel or looking too forward. I mean, of course we look forward and we miss, but we also want to make sure that we're really enjoying the time that we have with Sophia, and it's just kind of like a funny juxtaposition of feelings all at once. So I wrote this, and I'll just read it to you. And this one I just basically designed around the journaling. I knew I wanted a big chunk of journaling at the top, and I knew that it would be sort of just like layers and a little bit of stuff. So I didn't really think too much about the design of this, and it's not like strikingly beautiful or anything, but I do really like this page. And it's using the Atwell collection from Fancy Pants, and I'll tell you what's on it in a second. So it says, when we started this journey of hosting international students, we had no idea how deeply the students would touch us. At this point, we look back on our year with Marcel, this amazing, caring, fun-loving guy, and we miss him painfully, but are grateful to have known him. At the same time, we look forward to getting to know Pascal and wonder how he will be similar or different from his brother. Yet, we are hanging on to Sophia and all her wonderful, humorous, intelligent ways, and wanting to cherish every moment we have with her. We are at this wondrous place where no matter which direction we look, forward, backward, or right here, we realize we are so unbelievably lucky. So, yeah, that's what this layout is about. So I took these are all papers from the Atwell collection, and I really wanted to use this one on this layout. It's like this really cool painted paper that looks like a painting. It kind of looks like a mixed media paint. I don't know if it's acrylic or what it's supposed to look like, but it's sloppy, messy, beautiful. And I wanted to use that. And I just took this Cal Barteschi thicker from my stash and used it to spell out so unbelievably lucky. And this is a die cut from, pardon me, I think this is from the Atwell collection. Or did I get the die cuts from that? Or is it... I can't remember where this is from. It could be from the Carpe Diem collection. This is one of the little items that we got in our kit from Crop and Create. So this was one of the little free items that you get. And then this is a puffy sticker from the Atwell collection. Another puffy sticker from the Atwell collection. And that's about it. I sewed around the outside, and I did matte. This is actually pattern paper. It looks like a piece of cardstock, but it's one of the papers that came in the Atwell collection. It had feathers on the back of it. And the nice thing about the Atwell collection is that you get 2 of every pattern paper in it, as well as those corrugated cardboards as well. So there's really, it's packed with a lot of stuff. So that was the third layout that I did. Then my fourth layout, so I went and bought in between that layout and this layout, I went and I bought the She Blooms collection, which is an illustrated faith collection from Bella Boulevard. And this, to be honest, even though I mentioned the other 2 collections that I went to Crop and Create planning to buy, of all of the releases from CHA, this is the collection that I was the most excited about. This is the one that kind of caught my attention the most. I love the colors, I love the patterns. I was hesitant to order it online because I really wanted to look at it up close and really think about how I would use it, because I'm not a faith booker and I don't really scrapbook anything spiritual or religiously oriented. So I was kind of trying to think about how much of this collection am I really going to use. So first of all, I have to say that when I buy any collection, there's always a certain portion of it that I know that I won't use. So maybe it's, you know, it's got 7 different bicycles in it, and I know I'm just not going to use those. Or the Maggie Holmes Bloom collection this year had all of those florals, like all those die-cut floral pieces. I knew I wouldn't use those, but I still loved almost everything else about it, and it was worth it to me. I ended up not buying it. Enough of it came in a kit that I didn't have to buy it, but if it didn't come in a kit, I probably would have bought it. So whenever I'm thinking about whether or not I'm going to buy a collection, I'm not always thinking, am I going to use every single piece of this? Because that's just not reasonable. And with the amount of scrapbooking that I do and the amount of new product coming into my room every month, I don't really need to use all of a collection, but I do need to use enough of it that I feel like I've had fun with it, like I got my money's worth, at least somewhat, and that I created nice things with it. So those are sort of like the 3 things that I think about. And so I took a look at this collection, and some people around me had it and were looking at it. And the more I saw it, the more I felt like I just need to get it. And so I went up and I looked at it. And if you look at, and I'm going to give you some tips on how to use this collection from a non-spiritual perspective, just in case. I know that a lot of people who buy this collection bought it specifically because of the spiritual stuff in it. And I think that's a wonderful, it's wonderful that these products are out there now, because it is a fairly new, I don't think it's a new thing, but I think it's new that the scrapbooking companies are really kind of emphasizing this and creating products, like a large main product line dedicated to it. So I think that's awesome. So, but when I was looking at it, I was trying to figure out, how can I make this work for me with the way that I scrapbook right now? So I took a look at it, and I just decided that even though there was a certain portion of it that I probably won't use, so much of it was so beautiful and so usable that I just went ahead. I didn't buy the whole collection, but I bought several pieces of the paper. I can't even remember how many. I think I bought 6 or 7 pieces of the paper, and I bought them all different. I didn't buy any doubles. So this is the first layout that I made, and I considered this one to be sort of like a warm-up page for this collection. I saw this paper. This is that floral, like it's a whole 12 by 12 page of floral, and then it has She Blooms right here. I really wanted to use this as my title, She Blooms, and it's integrated right into the paper, so I didn't have to use any letter stickers for a title or anything like that. And everything here is from that collection, from the She Blooms collection, and except for the cardstock, which is just a white piece of cardstock background, and the enamel dots. So there's 1, 2, and just 2. So there's just the 2 enamel dots are from the Carpe Diem collection, and everything else is from She Blooms. So I started off by taking this piece of paper and I cut it into a horizontal rectangle, and then I kind of figured out how long it would be, because I knew my picture was a certain size and I wanted it to be sort of over to this side because I wanted this to balance off. So I didn't put it in the center. I wanted it sort of like to look like this. So I positioned the matting and the paper and the photo so that it would be right up against the title, so that this would be the title. And then I matted the paper on first. This photo, because it was taken from Sophia's Instagram account, it didn't have a white border on it just the way that I printed it. So I did mat it on a piece of plain white cardstock, and then I matted it on a piece of pink pattern paper from the kit. And this has some religious words on it, but because so much of it is covered, it doesn't strike you as a real religious type of or spiritual type of element. And then I put the whole thing on this stripy paper, which has the blue on the background, the blue hearts. So I added this because that gives me my really bold pop of that white contrast with the black matte. I really liked how that looked. And so that's my main page really, is just kind of this horizontal and then these 3 squares basically, including the photo. And then I took the leftover, so this was 12 inches wide at first, took the leftover and I hung it off the top and I cut it off right there. And then I layered some leftover, so this was a border sticker that came well, it would have come in the collection if you bought the whole collection, but I bought the stickers as a separate element. So that's from the stickers, and I put the extra right here. And it wasn't long enough, so I actually cut it. There's a gap underneath of this piece of paper right here. I bought the die cut pieces, and so this is from the die cut pieces, this from the die cut pieces, and these are from the die cut pieces, and this is a sticker from the sticker sheet that I got. And then at the last minute, I added in this extra piece of this strip of, and it's just a small strip. I put it here and I put it here. Actually, this is from the sticker set. Yeah, this is from the sticker sheet, and I just put it here and here to make it look like it sort of is part of that horizontal element. I layered 2 die cut pieces here from the collection and stapled them to the heart, and then later I layered this, and it's on a pop dot to give it a bit of shadow. And then up here, this is on a pop dot. This is a die cut piece, and this is a die cut piece. I just put Sophia 2016 in my handwriting there. This is a strip of pattern paper from this, just cut off of that. And this is the rest of that sticker that I already told you about. At the very end, I just put a little plop of, a little splatter of black Heidi Swapp Color Shine, another little splatter of black Heidi Swapp Color Shine. It dried fine, and it dried pretty quickly on the cardstock. I know when I used Heidi Swapp Color Shine Black recently, I was having trouble with it not drying all that fast, or I can't remember if I was the one having trouble or if you guys were all asking me about it. Maybe I didn't have trouble. I can't quite remember what happened there. But I remember wondering whether that was a problem, but it wasn't a problem this time. So I think that's all I have to say about that. That's it. So that was my warm-up page. It's sort of a little plain, and I don't know, I wasn't loving that one. Oh, but I loved this one. This one was really, really fun. So I really, really loved this one. So this one, and I just have my Stampin' Up! Little notebook here that I wrote my details in for my layouts. And I just took, this is a die cut from Crop and Create, one of their make and takes. Somebody just gave me an extra one. And I just took one of the chipboard pieces from the She Blooms collection and stapled it there. I was trying to use up as much of that collection as I possibly could. So I just kind of decorated the cover, because the whole crop I kept getting mixed up of where was the front. So that just marks the front. So I just have my notes written down here. So yes, I loved making this layout. It was really, really fun, and it's really easy, straightforward. From a design perspective, it's like a no-brainer. It's a really easy thing to do at a crop. I tend to either use sketches or really, really basic designs when I'm at a crop, because I'm so distracted. Like, I'm up and I'm down, and we go for supper and we go for lunch and we're talking and we're, going to take pictures, and there's lots going on. So I try to stick with really, really basic designs. This paper is something that I got from the crop. I bought it at one of the 2 stores there. And it's from the Bella Boulevard Let's Go collection. And I really liked that collection. I didn't want to buy the collection because I know that I'm not going to do much traveling this year. But what I really loved about this collection is not this paper, but the taxi cab paper. And I went up there to buy the taxi cab paper, and while I was there I thought, oh, that's such a nice neutral, and it's got the planes, and if I'm hanging on to one piece of paper for the next time I go to New York, I might as well hold on to 2. So I bought this one too, and that's the other side of it. And I was gonna hold on to it, but I was looking for a background for this. I started with just the strip of the floral paper from the She Blooms collection. And I knew I wanted to do something really, really basic, and I also knew that I wanted to use a strip of these jars of flowers. And these jars of flowers, every so often, they had a phrase that wasn't really relevant to me. It grow in him, it says. See? Grow in him. So I borrowed some word stickers from Christine Davidson, who was sitting next to me. She had these from Bella Boulevard. These little sets. I think they were from Bella. They might have been from Jelly Bean Soup. I can't remember where they're from, but she had them in her stash. And so I just put those in those 3 places that had spiritual related phrases on the jars. and that way it just kind of is more relevant to the theme. So this layout is about how these two are such good friends, and there's actually a third person. They're all equally good friends, but this particular picture I just thought was really beautiful, and I wanted to scrapbook it. She's quite a photographer, and she's really into fashion and photos and that sort of thing, so I've got a ton of these really, really beautiful pictures, and I want to get them scrapped. So I wanted this layout to be about how these two are friends, even though, like, she's from Spain and she's from Germany, and here they are in Nova Scotia, Canada, and they're friends. So I call it Friends from Afar, and I started with that horizontal and wanting to do a strip of this. So I cut this, and then I cut this, and I was like, what am I going to use as my background? And then I remembered I had this neutral paper with the airplanes on it, so I dug it out. Yeah, I had just bought it and put it away to bring back home, but I dug it out and used it on this because I think the airplanes signify like the idea that these two both traveled from far away. Here they are, and they're friends. So I took so most of this, other than the background paper, is from the She Blooms collection. I used, this is a strip from one of the pieces of paper. It's just a whole sheet of all these jars of flowers. It's so pretty. This is one of the florals. This is one of the die cuts. This is one of the pieces of chipboard. This is one of the stickers that I just cut the part of the phrase that was more relevant to me. These are 2 layered chipboard stickers. This is a die cut. And these enamel dots right here and here and here, these 3 of them, are from the I Am collection. Remember, I told you I bought 1 set of enamel dots, and those are from that set. And so, and then this is another die cut, this is another die cut, another piece of chipboard, and another sticker, and that enamel dot. So I wanted this to look very feminine and pretty because the picture is so feminine and pretty. So I dug out one of my doilies, and I also dug out a piece of this. You guys, if you saw my packing, oh look, it didn't stick down very well, but I'll fix that before I put it in my album. I had a crinkled up piece of shimmery paper, and I don't even know where this is from, but I just laid that in the back because it pops everything up a little bit because it's such a hard paper and it holds its shape, and it was quite crinkly. So it holds everything up and gives you a little bit of shadow under the doily. And I just think that that adds a nice feminine touch to behind the photo. I added this little photo corner. It doesn't follow my 3, so I have 1, 2, 3. I have this visual triangle going on. This is sort of outside of that, so you may or may not want to do something like that. I guess it's an example of not following the rules. Like, it sort of doesn't have anything else there, but I just really liked it and wanted to use it, so I put it there. So what I did to kind of draw your eye around the page is I started each of these 3 clusters with a floral die cut piece, which I outlined in my gray Chamel pen just to give it a little bit of distinction from the background. So I outlined each of them. So I put 1 here, I put 1 here, and I put 1 here. Then I added a chipboard element. So in this case, I added 2 chipboard pieces, the heart and the banner. And then here I added just the heart, and here I added a heart. So there's a chipboard heart in each of the 3 corners. And then I added a sticker with some black. So this one is a longer phrase that said She Blooms. And I think it said she blooms in his love, or she blooms in prayer with his love, or I don't know. I think that this came from further down the phrase, this word love. Oh, and they were rounded. I remember cutting them into rectangles. So they were rounded. And when I cut them off, part of them was straight and part of them was rounded. So I just straightened it up into little rectangles. So this one says she blooms, this one says love, and then I didn't have another phrase, so I just put the black star, which was also on the sticker sheet, and then I put an enamel dot in each of the 3 places. So 1 there, 1 there, and 1 there. So this corner here is green, which is not a color that was one of my main colors that I was using, and it's also outside of my visual triangle. I put it there, I like it there anyways, but it's sort of like the weird thing about this layout is that it has this random corner up there, and it does really kind of draw your eye up there because it's so bold and different from everything else. So, you know, if I were to leave something off, it might be this, but I like it there. If I were to take it off, it would leave a mark on the photo, so I'm just going to leave it there. Then the thickers that I use for this are Fitzgerald Gold thickers. And my set of thickers were actually cut off. So you see this R, the top of the R is cut off, and the top of the R right here is cut off. Basically the whole top line was sliced. So one of the R's was on the second line, so that one is intact, but these other ones are kind of sliced off. I'll contact them and see if they'll do anything about that. Then the whole thing was kind of a little bit too blending into one another, but I didn't want to use bold outlining in black. I didn't think that if I outlined in gray like I did here, I didn't think it would make enough of an impact. So I wanted something gray and not black to kind of separate my layers and to provide a little bit of contrast, but I didn't want a whole lot. So my friend Stephanie Hart had a piece of cardstock in this beautiful shade of gray, which is different enough from the background and it's darker that it provides a nice contrast between my patterns and my background, and then it also provides some contrast between these two patterns as well. So I basically just matted this strip of paper. I'll pull it apart so that you can see what I did there. So I matted this piece of paper with the gray cardstock, and then and then that becomes my lower level of gray. And then the top, I didn't mat the top. It would be too much use of paper. I just cut myself a piece of gray and ran it behind so that it looks like that one is matted. And that's what I did with that one. And then my journaling there just says Sophia and Enrique from Germany. And just from Germany is in brackets because it just goes with Enrique, not Sophia. She's from Spain. So that was that one. And then I was very mindful of the fact that I had scrapbooked a whole lot of Sophia so far this weekend, just because her photos are so pretty, and I just had printed them all up at once, so that's what I had. But I wanted to make sure that I got a chance to scrapbook my own biological kids too. And I really my goal with this one was to just use up lots of those pretty patterns and put them together. So I outlined all of these papers with my gray Chamel pen. And I just cut I guess it's 5 vertical strips, outlined them all. I cut them rough with my scissors. They're not perfect or anything. And then I just lined them up so that they looked kind of staggered and every which way. I glued them all down to one another. And then I just kind of rolled up the corners like you guys have seen me do in my process videos. And I rolled up that one. And then I didn't want to just plop the paper. I did mat the paper with a gray cardstock. It's the same cardstock from over here, from this other layout. I matted the paper with that because it's more subtle than matting it in black. I wanted this to have like this one, I wanted this one to be soft. And then I wanted something to give me a bit of a buffer between the photo and these busy patterns behind it. So I put a piece of Stampin' Up! Waffle paper, which is similar. You could use vellum or you could use tissue paper that's been crumpled up and then flattened out again to get a similar look. Vellum would have a smoother, less textured look, and tissue paper might have an even more textured look, I'm not sure. But that just kind of gives the photo a little bit of space to breathe. You could also use a piece of white cardstock. It wouldn't be see-through and it would give you a bit more space for your photo to breathe. This is a picture of my girls. And there is a story to go with this that I didn't journal yet, and I'm not sure exactly where I'll put the journal. But this is about, the girls were supposed to be cleaning their rooms and I came up and I caught them. They were running lines. So Olivia's in a play. It's a big play and she's got a big part with a lot of lines. And Sophia was there reading, you know, being her partner for her lines. So that was kind of awesome. So I couldn't very well stop them from doing that. They're good. They know how to get away with not cleaning their rooms. All these papers are from She Blooms. These 2 pieces of chipboard are from She Blooms. This is another one of those phrases that I borrowed from Christine. This is a chipboard phrase from the She Blooms collection. This is from She Blooms. This is from She Blooms. These are those I keep calling it I am. These are those Carpe Diem enamel dots. And basically, I made all of my cluster. This layout has only one cluster. It includes the title. And I think if I put journaling, I'm going to put the journaling down here too, so that everything is sort of clustered down here and it kind of fans out from there. That's my my design idea for this. So this crop was all about breaking rules here. So this is, again, it's not 3 clusters. It's not spread around the page. It's all down here and all focused. So these thickers are called Desktop. They're desktop stickers from Dear Lizzie, and they're this beautiful gold puffy letter sticker. They came in a kit from Scraptastic not too long ago. And I sprinkled some gold Heidi Swap Color Shine and some Primrose Pink Heidi Swap Color Shine, and I just kept my sprinkles right here so that everything is concentrated here. I really like how it looks. It's really pretty, and it was very fast and easy. Then, again, Christine was sitting next to me with all that big, huge pile of die-cut pieces, and so I had to help myself to another one of them. So I was kind of trying to, at this point, I had used a big chunk of the She Blooms collection, and I was saying to the people at my table, I think it would be really cool if I could just use all of this right here and not bring any of it home, because it was sort of my unplanned purchase of the crop of the weekend. And so I thought I would challenge myself to try to use up every last bit of it. So Christine suggested that if I use this pie chart as one of my backgrounds, it would give me a chance to use up a whole lot of the pattern paper that I had left. So that is exactly what I did. So I took all of the paper and I oriented it so that it was kind of facing this way. So each piece, no matter how you turn it, the piece at the top is going to be straight. So that's what I did, and I did exactly the same thing that I did with the Headley, but it was much easier because my spaces were much wider for me to glue things to, and they're all the same shape. So once I cut one out, I could cut all of the same. I just used the first one as a template, and then I just cut them out of all of the different patterns that I wanted to use. I was trying to use just one of each, but I ran out and used this one twice, but it's different depending on where in the paper you cut from. This one looks very different, and I put them on opposite sides so they weren't too close to each other or anything. So then and again, when you use such a detailed background paper, like such a detailed background, I find that I don't need to use as much embellishment, and so that's what the case is here. So I basically just put a small cluster right here. It includes 3 pieces of chipboard and 1 sticker. So the flower, the bloom where you're planted, another flower, and then bloom, love, grow. And then there's love right here too. And then these are from, let me flip the page. It's from Amy Tangerine Today Thickers, and this is a package of thickers that I bought at the crop, and it comes with these hearts and a whole bunch of words and phrases, and they're very large, and they're black foam thickers, my very favorite thing ever. So I had those, and then Christine had some of these black enamel shapes from Bella Boulevard that I used to embellish this as well. And I just kind of made it kind of go up and around, kind of like flowy. So that's that. And then I took it to Marielle's sewing machine and just sewed all around crisscross, and that's it. And then I put it on, this is actually one of the pieces from the Drops of Jupiter Scraptastic Kit Club. This was an exclusive paper to the kit, so it's designed by Scraptastic. What I really liked about it was that it was a neutral, but it wasn't white. It was like a light greeny, bluey color. It was very pretty and very subtle, and it allows the pie chart to have a bit of contrast, but it still has a very soft look. And then the main impact from this is from all the pops of black in the title and in the hearts that surround the title. So this one I wanted to have like a really bold title, whereas some of the previous ones had more subtle, feminine type of titles. So then I was having a lot of fun. I mean, I was having a lot of fun all along, but then I had a little bit of a reprieve and met a whole bunch of people and took a bunch of pictures, and it got me thinking about how awesome these crops are for getting to meet people who you might have known online but never really thought that you'd meet face to face, and kind of putting a face to the name type of situation, and also just how sweet people are, how much I love scrapbookers. And again, I'm trying to use up that She Blooms collection. Again, Christine Davidson gave me another idea. So this is a Jilly Bean Soup die cut piece with all these circles, and you buy it like this. It comes in cellophane, in a cellophane bag, and it doesn't have, it's like an empty die cut piece with nothing in the centers of any of the circles. So I took that and I borrowed a punch from somebody because I didn't, as you guys saw, I didn't pack any circle punches, but there was a lady at the desk next to me who, at the table next to me, who had the perfect size circle punch. So she kindly loaned me her circle punch and I punched all of these circles. So I punched 6 because it's 6 by 6. So I punched 6 different copies of 6 different pattern papers from the collection. And at this point, I had pretty much nothing left. So I was like going through my scraps and everything to try to get 6 of each of these patterns. And then I did kind of the same thing that I did with the Headley collection, where I thought about which one stands out as the most different from the rest. And that was this this yellow one. So I spread it around and I made it so that it's almost like a Sudoku. So when I placed it in a different horizontal row each time, but also a different vertical row. And so I started with the yellows, and then I did the blues, and then I think I did this text pink one, and then I wanted this one to be as far away from that one most of the time. They're next to each other here, just because they're both text. So then I did that one, and then I filled it in until it was done. And so none of them are, so you'll never see 2 of the same pattern in any vertical, horizontal, or vertical line. That was the way that I did it to space them out perfectly. And then I kind of used the same concept for decorating this one that I did with this one, which is I used really bold black foam letters, and I called this one Crop and Create with You, because it's all about connecting with other people. I do a Crop and Create layout at Crop and Create at every Crop and Create that I go to. So I brought my Instax printer, and these are some selfies that I took. This is me and Nicole Jones, who you guys might know as Nicole Jones 911, who has a YouTube channel. And so this is her and I. We met and we're chatting, and then this wonderful lady, Trish, came up to us and was asking for a picture. She's a viewer of both of our channels. And so we chatted with her for a little bit, and then I think this was actually taken earlier in the night. This is Barbara, who came up and wanted to take my picture, and she was just sweet and adorable, and I knew her on Facebook already, and she's in my challenge group, and she's a sweetheart. So it was really nice to get to meet her because we were talking beforehand and I knew she was coming, and same with Nicole. So anyhow, and Trish was just a lovely surprise. And there were a lot of people who I met. These are just the 3 that I had met at that moment. Like, this was kind of within a half an hour of me making this layout, and so I just kind of took all the pictures I had at that time and put them together. And if you didn't make this layout, it's not that I didn't love meeting you, it's just that I could, this is just this was a real immediate layout that I did, just kind of like, wow, this is so much fun, I just got to scrapbook this right now. So this is my Crop and Create page, and usually it's Crop and Create Moncton 2014, 2015, or whatever the case might be. This time it's Crop and Create with You, because this year was a lot more social for me than any other year. I'm a little bit of an introvert. I don't know, I'm not really an introvert, but I'm not super outgoing. So, but for some reason, I just like had so much fun meeting lots and lots of people at this one. This one was definitely the most social Crop and Create I've ever been to. So these letter stickers here are from, all the pattern papers are from She Blooms. This die cut piece is from Jilly Bean Soup, and these letter stickers here are Afterglow from these are Afterglow. Yeah, I think they're from Amy Tangerine, and these ones are from that the same as this. So from Amy Tangerine, the Today word stickers. The hearts are also from Bella Boulevard. They're the same hearts that were on here, and these foam hearts are the same as these foam hearts. They came with these words. This is from Atwell collection from Fancy Pants, one of the tags, and I put my extra journaling on that. This is a sticker from the She Blooms collection, and this is from the Carpe Diem collection, one of the journaling pieces from the die cut set that I bought. I stitched the whole thing this way and that way. It took a long time. I had to change the bobbin, and the bobbin pressure was getting a little weird on Marielle's sewing machine, so I don't know, it's kind of funky on the back, but it looks okay on the front. It's just kind of more detail. And then I did take my black Heidi Swap Color Shine mist, and I put some there, and I put some there. And yeah, so this is sort of like a just kind of everything in the center with embellishments here and embellishments here. It sort of, you know, goes journaling, title and pictures, journaling, and then the embellishments are sort of attached to where the journaling is. And the black really helps it to pop. There's a lot going on this layout, but it's also, you know, I think that the energy that's captured by having so much going on a layout is kind of reflective of the energy that I was trying to capture in the story behind the layout anyways. So it says, meeting other scrapbookers is one of the best parts of Crop and Create. I met these sweet scrappers at CNC Moncton 2016, Nicole Jones, Trisha, and Barb. And that's that one. It was so much fun. You guys know, every once in a while I do an immediate scrapbook page on my channel for a process video. Like, I'll take a picture that morning, put the kids on the school bus, go home, scrapbook the page, do the process video, and post it all on the same day. And that just, I don't know what it is. That must be like the geek in me that just loves the idea of doing that. So I had a lot of fun with this layout for that reason. This is my last layout that I did, and it is noticeably different than the other ones. It's kind of similar to one of these, to the one with the journaling. These two have a real different feel to them than the other ones. Less bright, bold colors, more muted, warm tones. This one I scrapbooked. So this morning, one of Stephanie's friends came over and gave her a huge stash of old sassafras papers because she knew that Stephanie is a huge sassafras fan, and she was destashing her scrapbook room and passed all these awesome papers. There were 2 of each onto Stephanie, and Stephanie was going through them, and I was drooling because I love sassafras too, and they're just so beautiful papers. And so Stephanie was so kind and gave me one of each of the ones that she had doubles of. So I had this stack of sassafras paper. I'll show you the rest of it in my Stuff I Got video. But I just felt like, oh, I need to use this stuff right now. So I had these pictures of Lunenburg, and I actually had printed them up with my regular printer before I left and brought them with me. But I felt like this paper was so vintagey and so warm, and I felt like it needed to have like an old-fashioned feel to it. So I pulled out my Instax printer, and I reprinted each of these pictures on an Instax print, which is a little Polaroid. And I'll link to my printer video in the information section for this one. And I layered them like that, and then I just glued them to each other. I actually ran a strip of cardstock behind them and glued them all to the cardstock so that I could move them around as a whole. And then I knew I wanted to layer it with this. Something is wet because my finger is black. I don't know what I smudged, but I think I smudged something. Anyhow, I knew I wanted to use this pattern paper because it was my favorite one of the ones that she gave me. And I knew that there would be I needed something to go between this pattern and these pictures, or the pictures would be too overwhelmed. So I took another one of my doilies from my stash, and I also took some of this gold waffle paper from Stampin' Up! For my stash. And I really just brought scraps of this waffle paper in white and gold. So this piece was already this size and shape. And I just laid it behind the photos so that it gave me a little bit of, again, breathing space for the photos. And then it looked okay with this pattern paper there. And then I layered, this is a vertical piece of another sassafras pattern paper. So this is all sassafras. That's actually the back side of the floral that I like. So there it is. And it's this really pretty grid-like line paper. And then I just felt like it was too all blending in together. So another one of the sassafras papers was this gray, and it's a warm gray. It's almost a greeny gray polka dot paper. So I took a horizontal strip and shoved it in between these 2 pieces of paper right there, and shoved another piece of it. It's also a horizontal strip right there. And then I just stuck it to my background paper, and I love this background paper. It's so pretty with these pops of this really vibrant blue right there, and then these warm shades of orange down here going into the blue again right there. Oh, I love this paper. So this is the word beautiful. This was something that Christine Davidson had on her desk, and she was giving away some little titles. So she had given me this the day before. It was just sitting on my desk, and I thought, oh, beautiful Lunenburg, that's a really nice title. So I used that for the beautiful part of my title, and I just put some Tombow Mono Multi adhesive, and I just put it here, 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 and here, but of course on the back side, and then just stuck this down so that this part of these letters is not attached at all. And that just gives it more of an airy feel, and it casts a shadow, and it just is beautiful and lovely and all those things that I love. And then I took, which thicker is this? Oh, look. Those are the details that I wrote down about this. This is, I think it's called Woodland. It is a Dear Lizzie black letter foam sticker, and this is the unsung hero of black letter foam stickers, black foam letter stickers in my stash. I've had these black foam letter stickers for a little while now, and I had not used them at all. I think they might have come in a kit, and I don't know why I didn't use them, because I absolutely love them. They're perfect size for putting a long word, and they're bold, they're really nice. I like how blocky they are to contrast with this beautiful scripty font or whatever that's called. It's just really pretty. I love, love, love these. They're one of my new favorite things, so it's an old new favorite thing. So I took that and put that there. Then I embellished around it. So what I did was, Stephanie gave me some wood veneer pieces because I didn't really bring any wood veneer pieces. I kind of mooched off of other scrapbookers a lot at this crop. But I think that's the one. I also shared a lot with other people, so I think that's one of the great things about going to a crop, is sharing what you have and you know, growing from other people, seeing what they have, and sharing stuff when you can is really nice too. So I had these are some Maggie Holmes findings. I think they are called ephemera pieces or something and so the things that came from that are this gold heart, and this gold heart, which form my visual triangle, and then this piece and this butterfly and the bird all came from the Maggie Holmes little pieces of stuff that came in one of her older collections. I put a little gem on top of this. This was a button, but I glued it down instead of stitching it down, and then I put a gem to cover the holes. These are from Stephanie's stash. These little, I just sprinkled them. I literally just like threw them and glued them where they landed, except some of them were upside down, so I turned them over. So and I kind of did the same thing there, and I did the same thing there. Then this was one of those circle, I think it's from Studio Calico, circle wood veneers. I just cut it in half and stuck half of it there, half of it there. This is one of those favorite butterfly pins. I use these so often. And I'm almost out of them. You know what? I don't use them so often, but I use them very consistently. So I reach for them. I know when I need them, when I'm kind of lacking detail and I want something kind of delicate to stick in someplace, I always reach for these. So I was hoping to get more of these at this crop because that's where I bought them. I bought them 3 years ago at Crop and Create. But I didn't see them there this time, and it's old now, so they might not make them, but I did buy some more stick pins that are just different than this. So I've replenished my stash of stick pins, so that's a good thing. But I used one of them there. I might only have 2 or 3 of those left now. Anyhow, that's how this one ended. I sprinkled some Heidi Swap teal color shine here, here, and here. And then I did my journaling and underlined it. It says, one rainy spring day, we piled into the car and took a little road trip to Lunenburg for fish and chips, March 2016. And that's it. So that one was really fun. Fun to work with old vintage sassafras stuff again. This is what I created. Oh yeah, also, remember I mentioned I was trying to use up all my scraps? So this was almost all my scraps. I made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layouts using just or almost only the She Blooms collection. And I didn't even have the whole collection. I just had, I think, 7 pieces of paper, and I had the die cuts, and I had the sticker sheet. And I had the chipboard. So that's what I had. And I made cards with all the scraps that were left on my table, but I gave the cards away, except for this one. I don't know why I didn't give this one away. but I didn't. So that's what was left. Yay! I don't know who will get that one. It's not like the nicest card. None of the cards were all that nice. I don't make great cards, but they were using up my scraps, and so they were good and fun. So that's what I created at Crop and Create Moncton 2016. And so if you're interested in seeing how I packed, that video should be on my channel. If you're interested in seeing what I bought, there should be a haul video on my channel. And if you're interested in seeing what goodies we got, including my prize that I won, that should be posted as a separate video as well. So thanks for watching this video, and if you're interested in all the other ones, I just listed them, so check them out on my channel, and have a really great scrappy week.